So I, 18 female, am very lucky in that I have two very hardworking parents who are successful and love me. We aren't mega wealthy, but we're very comfortable as my parents are extremely smart financially. We own multiple houses as part of our real estate portfolio that we rent out for extra income. I recently started college, and as a present for working hard and getting into my dream school, my parents gifted me one of our houses that's near my college. I was going to inherit them all anyway, but I really appreciate their gesture. Where I live, real estate law is a little tricky, and we'd have to pay significant taxes to officially transfer the house to me, so we decided to have my parents own it legally for now. The house is pretty big with 4 floors, including a fully furnished basement and a roomy attic, and since it's near my school, I decided to look for roommates so I could start earning money early. So far, I have 2 roommates who we'll call Sasha, 18 female, and B, 19 female, who also go to my school. We've been living together for a couple of months now, and we're all pretty good friends and very compatible roommates. This is where I might be the idiot. I didn't want to tell them that I owned the house as I thought it might create a weird dynamic between us, and I didn't want them to view me any differently. We split the bills and rent, with me technically paying nothing. Since my father legally owns the house and we have different surnames, I took my mother's last name. They have no idea I own the house or that my dad just sends the money back to me. Sasha recently found the money my dad sent back while I was at class and told B, and they cornered me about it a few days ago. I told them everything, and they're mad at me for hiding this from them and think I'm not only in the wrong for keeping it a secret, but for making them pay rent in the first place. The house's mortgage has already been paid off, so the rent goes entirely into my pocket. I responded by saying that they shouldn't have gone through my mail in the first place and that it's illegal, which I'll admit was kind of a low blow. We weren't friends when they moved in, and the whole point of me wanting roommates was so that I could earn extra cash. So I don't see why I should let them reside for free. Am I the idiot here? Edit. We have a system where whoever's home brings all the mail in and puts it on the kitchen island. B brought the mail in, but Sasha opened my mail before I got home. My dad doesn't send me straight up cash, LOL. He mails 2 checks with the amount Sasha and B paid. And when Sasha saw the checks from the landlord to me with the exact amount of her and B's rent, she put 2 and 2 together and interrogated me when I came home. I don't know why she opened my mail in the first place. I've never noticed her snooping before, but maybe she has and I just never saw. Stop lying to yourself. You are mega wealthy. That said, not the idiot. Your roommates are entitled to think they deserve a place rent-free. Just because you're extremely privileged doesn't mean they should get to live rent-free. But you are extremely out of touch and tone-deaf. Only mega-rich people use terms like our real estate portfolio. Your parents own all this property, except maybe the house they gave you. I laughed right out loud. At that. The house isn't even legally yours. Never mind the rest of our real estate portfolio. Mail tampering is a crime, not a get-out-of-rent-free card. But there's a reason I refuse to rent a room with my landlord. I have a lot fewer protections as a tenant, and I don't like the power dynamic. I think everyone's the idiot. Weird to not disclose the actual owner of the house. Not gonna lie, I got grossed out reading, "My parents are extremely hardworking," like as if every other working class dual income parents aren't, including those living paycheck to paycheck. What are they trying to say? Everyone can be rich and privileged? Everyone can be rich and privileged if they worked hard? The humble grandiosity for the circumstances of obvious accrued generational wealth that she played no part in, apart from being on the receiving end of it, just makes them come off as such a shallow individual. Ironically, love that their idea of making an earning early on is by simply sitting pretty and collecting rent money checks from daddy, like so much for the hard-working initiatives. Yeah, imagine being 18 years old and saying, our real estate portfolio. The wording of the post shows just how entitled OP is. My dad owns a bunch of properties. Eventually, I'll own them. Honestly, if I was rich and my kid was acting that entitled, I'd be tempted to not give them the houses and the will, just to teach them that you can't just assume this crap. I, 38 female, am married to my husband, 42 male. I have 2 kids and he has 1 with his ex, Alice, twin female. My husband has 50-50 custody, so Alice is around a good chunk of the time. A few weeks ago, Alice started sneaking some of her Sanrio. She's obsessed with the brand, plushies, into the room she shares with my daughter. It was fairly obvious, but I didn't comment on it, nor did my husband. I really thought nothing of it. But my husband got a call from his ex. Apparently, she's been wanting Alice to get rid of these toys because she's getting too old for them and wants to give them to younger family members. I think it's a bit cruel. My kids are older than Alice, and I don't force them to give away their plushies unless it's obvious they don't care about them anymore, which Alice clearly does as she's attached. My husband doesn't really agree either, as he bought most of her collection and feels like he should have a say in what's going on with them, and he doesn't want to give them away if Alice still likes them. Is it wrong that I just don't comment on anything? My husband has made it clear to me that he's not going to say anything, as they're technically his toys, and they should be here anyways. I really don't find harm in letting Alice take them over here either, but then again, as much as I love her as my own, I'm not legally her parent and don't know if I should really get a say in this. Am I the idiot? She's only a tween. I'm 18 and still have some of mine lying around. Alice clearly has some attachment to the teddies, and she'll know when it's time to let them go. Alongside that, X can't say what happens in your and your husband's house. Good communication and similar rules are always helpful when raising kids in different custody situations, though a few are fine. Letting her keep some toys, especially that your husband bought, is normal. Definitely not the idiot though. To save yourself down the track, I'd let X know you'll be happy to keep the toys in your house instead. When I got married and moved out of my mother's house, I packed up my books, but I couldn't take them along because my husband was in the military. They were packed away neatly in waterproof totes in the basement. When my husband got out of the Navy, I tried to get my books back, only to find that my mother had given them all away. I had 3/4 of the Animorph series, dozens of Star Wars books, my silly witchcraft books. All in all, maybe 150 to 200 books, just gone. She got rid of them because I was a wife now and didn't need silly children's books anymore. I'm 44 and married 23 years. She's been dead for 8 years. I still haven't forgiven her. Pretend you have no idea of the situation and let your husband take point. Alice is seeking to keep her beloved possessions safe, and your home is that safe place. It wouldn't surprise me if Alice is being told it's time that she grew up and stopped being a baby in order to shame her into sharing or giving away her beloved plushies. She needs a place where she can feel okay being a young girl and feel some autonomy over her belongings. My sister is about to get married for the 4th time, but this is her 2nd marriage. Confused? Let me explain. My sister Emily, 39, got married to Adam when she was 20. She had Eliza, tween, and Ryan, tween, with Adam. But Adam suddenly died when the kids were toddler and kindergarten age. Emily met John, 42 male, a year later at a group for widowed parents. They started dating about 18 months after they met and got married 7 months into a relationship. John has 3 kids with his late wife, who are now a young teen, and 2 tweens. At their first wedding, the kids were unhappy, so they acted out and ruined the wedding. In reality, the photos were a mess because the kids didn't want to be in them, wouldn't smile, and there was fighting, etc. They wouldn't sit together, and one of them knocked over the wedding cake. In addition, so much attention was paid to the kids that Emily and John felt their day had been overwhelmed. So they went into therapy, and after a little more than a year, they decided to redo their wedding and try to make it perfect the second time around. But the kids were still unhappy, and the wedding was still miserable for Emily and John because they had not created a blended family like they wanted, and the kids were very open about this during the wedding, and again, didn't want to sit together or pose for photos. Emily and John now have almost 2 more kids together. They have a daughter, and Emily's expecting again. They want to retry the wedding once their last child is here, but their kids are still not blended, and their household is still tense, messy, and unhappy. They're still in therapy though. Most of the family members are willing to do this so that Emily can have a happy wedding, but I made it clear I won't be attending this 4th wedding. Emily told me I should be a supportive younger brother and attend the next wedding. I told her I was at her other 3, and I didn't want to attend several more of her weddings because she's trying to create a happy image when her family isn't happy. She told me I should be willing to attend as many as it takes, and this next one will hopefully be it. She told me I shouldn't be judging her anyway, that she's doing her best. Am I the idiot? 4 weddings is ridiculous, especially when 3 of them are to the same person. I hope they're not expecting gifts for their wedding. Also, why do they continue to have the children at the wedding when they ruin it? Just have an adults-only event and leave the kids with a babysitter for the day. Where the heck is the money coming from for 4 weddings? They want the wedding to symbolize the family they're trying to make and want to be. Borrowing money and loans are big ones. I'm pretty sure they had a mountain of debt after their first wedding to each other. They sound delusional. I can't imagine going into a pile of debt for this. Maybe wedding number 16 will be good because all the kids will have moved out and will be on their own, except for the ones they had together. Does she think a wedding makes everything hunky-dory? How nuts. Just tell them maybe you'll catch the next one. Clearly, this isn't going to go any better. Not the idiot for not being a guest star in her Groundhog Day wedding edition. I, 28 male, am a medical resident, so I barely have time to sleep, let alone date. My friends, also in med school, have been pushing me to go out more, insisting I need a break from the grind. A few weeks ago, they set me up on a blind date. They wouldn't stop talking about how perfect this girl was for me. So I thought, why not? I met Emily at the restaurant, and right away, I could tell she wasn't what my friends probably expected me to go for. Emily's not super skinny. In fact, she's a little chubby. But honestly, I thought she was really cute. She had this amazing smile, and her laughing made me want to keep the conversation going. She's studying geology, and she was so passionate about her work, talking about volcanic rock formations like it was the coolest thing ever. And by the end of the night, I agreed. It was a lot more fun to talk about than cadavers. The best part was how comfortable the date felt. We both found out we're autistic, both late diagnosed, and we mask a lot, meaning we're used to putting on a social act to fit in. But with each other, it felt like we didn't have to pretend so much, making the whole evening feel easy. It wasn't like most dates where you constantly try to impress the other person. We just clicked. Physically, Emily wasn't the type my friends thought I'd be into, but I didn't care at all. She's sweet and funny, and I had a fantastic time with her. By the end of the night, we exchanged numbers, and we've been texting pretty regularly since. A few days later, though, I got a really sad message from Emily. It turns out that my friends told her that they had set us up as a prank. They set me up with her because they thought she wasn't my type, and that they picked her precisely because she's chubby and not what they'd call conventionally attractive, thinking it would be funny to see how I'd react. Emily was obviously hurt and texted me, apologizing if she wasn't what I expected. She said she understood if I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She was wrong. I think she's beautiful, body and spirit. To be honest, she's my new type. I was furious when I found out what my friends had done. I immediately apologized to Emily, telling her my friends were idiots, and I genuinely enjoyed our date. I reassured her that I wasn't texting her out of pity and that I thought she was awesome. After we talked it out, I asked her if she'd like to go on another date, just the 2 of us, with no pranks or games this time. She said yes. Now my friends are angry at me. They're saying I ruined the joke and that I'm being weird by asking her out again. They're acting like the whole thing was just harmless fun, and they can't believe I'm going on a second date with someone who, to them, was supposed to be the punchline. They even joke that I'm only doing it because I feel bad. But that's not it at all. I actually like Emily. I'm looking forward to seeing her again, and I don't see why I should let their prank dictate how I feel. So now I'm getting all this backlash, and my friends think I'm the idiot for continuing to see her. I'm so confused. They keep saying it's my autism and that I just don't get it. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sounds like you need new friends. That's some gross and disrespectful high school level behavior on their part. Also, disappointing to hear that they're going to become doctors. They're not the kind of people who should be entrusted with anyone's well-being. And they never needed to say anything to Emily. Regardless of whether it went well or not, setting it up as a prank is childish. Kicking the boot into her to tell her like that is incredibly cruel and unnecessary. And these people are going to become doctors? Ugh. So much this. My brother went on his first date with this woman on a bet from his buddy and some coworkers. She wasn't his type. She was short and athletic, where he had always gone out with tall and willowy women. Well, this coming November, they'll celebrate 22 years of marriage, and their daughter's in her sophomore year of university. The people who made the bet have since sworn they'll never let it slip that he asked her out on a bet, and have been absolutely happy that their juvenile bet turned out so well. OP, go and enjoy your date, and maybe consider a new group of friends. I'm an orthodontist, 35, married to a wonderful woman, 33. Her family's always been great, but I recently had to set a boundary. My brother-in-law asked me to do free orthodontic work for his kids. I told him I couldn't, that I don't do free treatments, even for family. He got angry, saying I'm selfish and greedy because I'm successful. He made snide comments about doctors making a lot of money. When he said, "What's a few $1,000s to you?" I told him my bank account isn't a piggy bank for family members. I explained it's about principle, fairness, and consistency in my practice. Waiving fees for family would mess that up. It wouldn't be fair to my other patients who pay full price. Honestly, my brother-in-law's family is struggling financially, and it's hard to see them dealing with that. But I still can't justify giving them free treatment. My wife agrees with me, but is torn up about the whole thing. She's sad that her brother's being so critical and causing tension between us. It's taking a toll on her, which bothers me more than his entitlement. I'm frustrated he's dragging her into this. To make things worse, even my in-laws are chiming in. My mother-in-law and father-in-law keep telling me I'm being unfair and that family should come first. They say I should help out since we're financially stable, but that's not reasonable. To clarify, I'd help with discounts or payment plans, but free treatment? No. For the record, no free treatments, not even for my own family. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your brother-in-law created the problem for your wife, not you. Her parents chiming in demonstrates why your brother-in-law is so entitled. It's just beyond the pale that your in-laws feel they can make demands on your work and insult you for having clear boundaries. It's really your wife's job to put her family in their place. Your offer to help with financing is sound. I used to deal with this a lot when I still had my private law practice, and it never ended up well. First, once you do it for one person, then all of a sudden everyone is expecting it. And the next thing you know, you're getting pressured to work for free for everyone. Second, in my experience, the friend and family clients I agreed to help for free, or very little, end up being more of a hassle than your clients paying full price. They call and complain more since they don't get billed, and if anything doesn't go exactly how they want it, suddenly you become the bad guy and they're blaming you. No appreciation, nothing but hassles. Also, you have overhead, rent, insurance, supplies, etc. that you have to cover, so you're not just working for free. You're effectively losing money. They will whine and complain, but stick to your guns. Yeah, my mother-in-law and father-in-law keep telling me I'm being unfair and that family should come first. They say I should help out since we're financially stable. Great! Tell them they can pay for the treatment then. Have you ever heard the story, if you give a mouse a cookie? If you give in to this, that will be your life.